I know we've got the tornado sirens that are going. I know a lot of you guys are probably really, really scared right now. Here's what to do. We're just going to stay calm. We're going to listen to our moms or dads or grandparents or our relatives or whoever we're staying with at the moment, all right? We're going to listen to them. We're going to follow the instructions and remember what we did and what we do when we have the tornado safety drills at school. Remember what we do? We go to the center part. We find the hallway, the center part of the school, and we crunch down and we get low and we cover our heads. That's what we're going to do right now, okay? And I promise we're going to get through this. Just hang in there. And if you got a bicycle helmet, put it on. You got a batting helmet, put it on. You got a football helmet, whatever it is, hard hat like we got here. Hey, listen, I don't care how stupid this thing looks on me. I'm going to put it on right now. There you go. Take a look at downtown Somerset, Jim. Let's hit those individually. And you see all kinds of destruction there. Looks like a building, a business is leveled on that one. You can see there in the distance. And the amazing part is that the structure of that tornado looks exactly the same as when it was in Somerset. Yep. That is from the London airport. That is an air evac. Look at that thing. We hope and pray there are no injuries or fatalities. But when you see the videos and the pictures we're getting in, it puts your stomach just drops out a little bit.
This is a live picture for this morning from Laurel County. London Mayor Randall Weddle told WKYT there were several fatalities in the community, and we now know that there have been 9 so far.
And then my husband and my son come running in and pretty much jumped on top of her because you could feel the air and everything sucking, and it sounded like a train. And then we saw stuff falling, and the next thing we knew, he said most of the house was gone.
We're here at the Pulaski County Area Technology Center, where just about 2 or 3 minutes ago, the fire chief approached me and told me that they have learned of one fatality.
We're fortunate it wasn't worse.
Late Friday night into Saturday morning was something these city and county officials say they have never experienced in their official capacities.
It appeared to come right across our house. I'd never seen lightning or wind like that at home.
The damage was centered in South Somerset, north of Burnside, and areas to the east and west. But with the twister hitting at nighttime, it's still too early to determine how much damage was done.
As the sun came up Saturday morning in Laurel County, those who live here were finally able to see the devastation. Full homes wiped out, cars crushed beyond recognition, and lives completely turned upside down.
We don't have clothes, we don't have shoes, we don't have anything. Technically, it's all destroyed. I don't even know where we're going to sleep at the moment. So.
For Tina Carnes, this isn't her first time dealing with severe weather at her home off Old Whitley Road. Straight-line winds damaged her home 17 years ago, resulting in $50,000 in repairs. But this time, the damage goes far beyond fixing.
Thank God Almighty, my family is okay. They didn't get hurt. Everybody's alive.
Foundation crumbled, windows blown out, a camper in pieces, and a new car completely destroyed. And that was just my first stop.
We were actually watching Final Destination, and then in the middle of the movie, we got the tornado warning alarms, and the movie went on for a few minutes, and then all the power went out.
The Somerset movie theater was one of the places hit Friday night.
The next thing I know, one of the workers were telling us to get down, and then the roof collapsed in one of the theaters and debris were flying. People were beating on the doors trying to get back in as they were trying to leave.
Samantha Taylor got separated from her husband and says it was the scariest moment of her life.
We were hunkered down in the hallway and I was helping a mom to shield her kids from the debris.
Another Somerset resident, Eric Cunningham, had parked his brand new car at his mom's house, thinking it would be safe.
I didn't have a place to actually protect it, so I brought it over here and I parked it in it's actually a 27 by 27 block garage, very nice garage, and thinking it was going to be protected. You know, I would never thought a tornado was going to run right over top of it.
Where I'm standing, there isn't a home in sight that doesn't have some bit of storm damage. Some of them, like the one behind me, completely destroyed. Now, Chris, the death toll from Friday's severe weather has now reached at least 19. Governor Beshear says the latest death was a woman in Russell County. That is the first confirmed death there. One person has also been confirmed dead in Pulaski County. Governor Beshear says 17 people were killed in Laurel County.
Now, we want to show you the power of this storm on Friday night. So I am standing in what should have been someone's garage. Now, there were 2 vehicles parked in this garage. That would be this car right here and this trike right here. They were parked facing out, and the storm actually flipped those vehicles and had them land right there. The gentleman who lives in this home rode out the storm in the front of his house, and if we can look all the way back, there is a refrigerator that is sitting there piled up against that tree, and I am told that the gentleman was thrown that far to where that refrigerator is. He is okay, thankfully, but it is just to show you the level of this storm. There are cinder blocks that have been knocked off completely in an entire row, as well as the brick that was on this home has come off in complete sections still together.
We have another unbelievable story of survival and an outpouring of help in the aftermath. Take a look at Matt and Ashley Deaton's London home before and then after the May 16th tornado. Minutes beforehand, they were watching First Alert meteorologist Chris Bailey and Jim Caldwell on their cell phones. This afternoon, Chris and Jim got to meet up with the Deaton family. When Chris said, now's the time to go to an interior space and put on a helmet, that is exactly what they did.
So I coach football locally, and I had a couple extra helmets laying around, so we shoved the boys in football helmets and just gathered pillows, blankets.
And you had said bicycle helmets, and when you were talking to the kids, and I was like, you have football helmets, that's better. That's better than a bicycle helmet.
Because you had the face mask and everything.
Oh, yeah, we were covered.
Now, the Deatons are living in a home that a friend has loaned them that was up for sale. Strangers as far away as Bowling Green and Indianapolis have reached out, offering up prayers and even help. Well, First Alert Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey is in Laurel County tonight, as you saw, as those recovery efforts are ongoing for many, many families.
Yeah, Chris, you got to meet that family, hug that family. I know you say you were just doing your job, but this just shows how important that job can be to folks.
Yeah, because you know, in those situations, it truly is life-saving information we are giving out to people. And, you know, that lovely family we were just talking to there, and I had the opportunity, as you mentioned, to give them a hug earlier today. I'm struck by how much they wanted to talk, not about themselves and everything they went through, but by how much this community is coming together and how they teared up on several occasions, and we all did, but tearing up in thinking about how many people have helped them. They're keeping a running tab of everybody who has helped them along the way, from the smallest things to the biggest things. And they wanted us to convey that message to everybody out there, that they thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's what everybody here across London, Laurel County, over into Pulaski County, parts of Russell County, are saying to the vast outpouring of support folks down here are receiving. Obviously, it's a slow process. It's a process that is going to take days, it's going to take weeks, it's going to take months, and in some cases, years for this community to get back on its feet.
This is one of the worst natural disasters that our state has seen, specifically here in this mountain region.
I'm actually standing in one of the numerous businesses alongside US 23 that are seeing damage. You can take a look around here. I mean, there's a complete loss of items within this auto shop here. You can actually see on this box exactly where the water hit.
I am worried about the snow coming right on top, and that's why it's really important in these next 2 days especially for everybody to make sure they're at a safe place.
Man, we've been punched too much. We've had our guts knocked out. We take a right cross and then an uppercut, and then we get hit in the gut again. But I'm going to tell you about our people. Man, they get knocked down, they crawl right back up.
It was the first chance today to get into their businesses and into their buildings to see just how much that they have lost. Kevin C. Johnson is a longtime attorney here in Hazard, and Saturday night he sat at home helplessly watching as the water slowly overtook his law office. The sounds of cleanup are loud and clear along Main Street in Hazard. Mud so thick in places that it's hard to even move. Kevin Johnson's law office has been along this stretch of Main Street for years. The North Fork just within eyesight. Up until Saturday night, he had only ever seen water at his front steps.
It always stops. This time when it didn't and started coming underneath the door, I knew it was going to be different.
His cases, clients, and day-to-day business now on hold. Johnson admits it was hard seeing the devastation firsthand.
It was bad. I mean, as you can see, now we don't have anything, but it was just everything was scattered. All of our files, our furniture, my kids' pictures, everything.
Johnson told us he knew the exact moment his office had been inundated with water, watching at home on security camera. What are you thinking when you can see that, I'm sure, at home?
You're helpless.
Yeah.
When the camera was set right here.
Really?
Yeah, so it got up that high. I could see what was going on until then. But by then, all the furniture was floating out here.
Help, though, has arrived. Members of the Hazard High School football team, the coach, and even complete strangers all pitching in to help get mud and debris out.
They just drive by and see us over here, and they just stop and get out and come over and pitch in.
Kevin W. Johnson says thanks to electronic backups of all of his files, he will be able to get back to work. He doesn't know when that will be, but he will be able to get back to work. But it will take some time. And it's really amazing to think about the water that came out of the river here, out of its banks. I'm about 5.5. It would have been completely over top of us and then slowly made its way over to that area of Main Street and really left a wake of destruction behind it. That water now obviously receded. You know, there are so many areas that are dealing with destruction right now. One of the other areas hit hard by this weekend's flooding is in Lee County. As the water levels there begin to drop, the true scope of the damage is still coming into picture.
We're here at the intersection of Main Street and Bradford Streets in Beattyville, and situations have kind of changed. Earlier today, this entire intersection was underwater. Now it's kind of diverged into two separate areas where you cannot go through. We even saw somebody going on a canoe to travel down Main Street. And we talked with Lee County Search and Rescue earlier. They said that there are about 50 businesses that have closed their doors today because they're that impacted by the floods.
As I told my brother who called yesterday over and over, I said, this is not in my hands and there's nothing I can do to control it.
Blanche Arnold is the owner of Blooming Sensations in downtown Beattyville. She says her building is on the second level, and while the flooding is staying in the basement, she can't get into her building. After rebuilding from a fire and floods in 2021, Arnold says she was hopeful that this wouldn't happen again.
I moved there because I thought this is a safe place that doesn't normally flood. And it flooded. You know, other than moving all of town out beyond town, I don't see how you could actually do that.
Robbie McKinney, manager of Lee County Farm Bureau Insurance, shared these images of what his business looks like. He estimates there's about 2 to 2.5 feet inside. McKinney says in 2021, that flooding reached 4.5 feet.
We came into 25 with such anticipation and that this was going to be so much better year, and here we are.
McKinney, riding around on his kayak, says in 2021, people came to help Beattyville, and in 2022, they went to help those in Jackson's floods. And this time, McKinney says everyone in this area has that need in common.
Emotionally, it's overwhelming when people come and help you and don't expect anything in return, and then you go and you help them and you know what they're feeling inside. It's unbelievable.
This is a look now at Nelson County, where officials have confirmed the second death as a result of this week's flooding.
I'm struck at how much green we have currently on the warnings map here, and that is just a lot of real estate with flood and flash flood warnings.
Meaning these areas are flooded right now.
Behind me is Elkhorn Plaza. And you can see overall it is underwater.
This behind me is North Elkhorn Creek. I'm going to step out of the way so you guys can see. You're supposed to see Ozer Landing Park there, but obviously the waters are rushing high.
It's the first time for me seeing it get up this high. I mean, like I said, we used to eat here at Jim's Seafood and,
you like to watch the dam that, like I said, you can't even tell where it's at right now. But.
And according to officials, these flood levels will be similar to that of 1997. And Mueller is urging folks to evacuate if they are along the Kentucky River at all, just to stay safe.
There was a unique sight along the river. Take a look at this. What looks like a home was seen floating along the river. This video was taken by emergency management. They say the structure is believed to actually be a dock. Now, Director Ray Kinney says it's possible that dock detached somewhere in Jessamine County on Friday.
We're getting near record flooding levels for the crest that we're supposed to see on Monday for this area.
I can't put it in words. I really can't. And I've been around disasters all my life, but I've not seen this.
I remember the 78 flood, but this is getting close.
While heavy rain can bring beauty, it also brings pain. For Frankfort residents, seeing flood levels this high raises concern.
It was nowhere near this bad.
Jennifer LeCompte has lived in Frankfort all her life. While she now lives on high ground, she lived in a flood-prone area for years.
I usually get, when this starts happening, I get these old feelings, adrenaline rush. Like, go, 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 go.
LeCompte has had to evacuate more times than she can remember. And she's not the only one who's had to pack everything up.
In 2010, I got flooded out in Lower Clifton. And this is worse. And it was pretty bad back then.
Kirby Alexander lives near the Kentucky River in Frankfort. He's once again having to leave. For those who have been there before, they say grab your necessities, but get out quickly.
Your safety and your life and your family loved ones comes first. As long as they're out, you can replenish your material things.
And for the future,
rebuild.
Devastation along the Kentucky River as days of heavy rain lead to major flooding across multiple Kentucky communities. In Frankfort, the Kentucky River has spilled out over into neighborhoods, flooding businesses and homes. A look from above shows the widespread damage from all of that flooding.
There is a curfew that is in place. It remains in place tonight from 8 to 6 a.m. WKYT's Jessica Umbro is joining me live from here in Frankfort. And Jessica, I know that you actually talked to a woman who was cut off from her own home by the flooding.
Yes, she was cut off from her own home, and she's just grateful that there is no longer any more rain contributing to this. I just wanted to show you this very active scene. There have been a lot of people coming by, taking a look at the Singing Bridge. So this wall has been here to prevent the floodwaters from coming down Bridge Street onto West 2nd Street. And around midday, I watched the city crews put some sandbags down here to try and mitigate the flow of water coming down. Obviously, you can see that it is flowing. Luckily, there are a few drains that are taking all of that water, and it's because of those conditions, it's because of that all being handled that homeowners are able to go back and try and see what has been damaged, but for some, they're still not able to get back to their homes.
When the studio owner came in here, there was about 3 feet of water, but she says just in a matter of a day's time, that water has risen several more feet. Now the question is, where can the roughly 200 dancers go to practice and just get some sense of normalcy?
By the time we realized it was coming in, it was too late.
This is what you see when you open the door to Kentucky Dance Academy.
Our landlord, he called in and said, it's as bad as you could imagine.
Academy Director Amanda Keller says their last practice was Saturday afternoon. At the time, she says there were some flood warnings in effect.
I think we all knew that the river was going to rise, but I think myself and a lot of the other businesses locally, we expected to have another day.
But Keller says their drainage and sewer system failed before they could move anything to higher ground.
But there's another flight of stairs that it's totally covering now.
We want to show you this. Buffalo Trace Distillery in Frankfort is impacted by the major flooding. Take a look at this aerial footage. You can see how all of the buildings on the property are surrounded by water. Some of them are fully submerged. Right now, the distillery is closed to team members customers and visitors. Distillery officials plan to keep it closed at least through Thursday.
Yeah, if you are familiar with that, ever walked that property, it's really amazing to think about that amount of water that's inundated the property.
A great place to visit normally,
sure.
right?
We are breaking in for a number of active scenes across Fayette County this Sunday afternoon. I'm Samantha Valentino. We know a Kentucky state trooper was shot earlier this afternoon and multiple others were hurt at a Lexington church.
We just learned from KSP a few minutes ago that the suspect did shoot a trooper and fled the scene and came here to Richmond Road Baptist Church.
When I've approached officials, they've been very tight-lipped about what's currently happening here, but we do have confirmation from the Lexington Fire Department that a shooting did take place here at the airport and a victim was taken to the hospital with serious injuries.
The officer approached the vehicle and we went to pass them and heard shots fired as we went by and looked, and the officer stumbled back and into the street and fell down, and we sped to get help.
The trooper had pulled over a vehicle on Terminal Drive after receiving a license plate reader alert in the area of Versailles Road. The trooper was shot and the suspect fled. The suspect carjacked a vehicle in the 3700 block of Bellawood Drive before fleeing the area. 4 individuals were shot on church property. 2 female victims were pronounced deceased at the scene. The other 2 victims, both male, were transported to a local hospital.
A lot of panic. I think there were a lot of customers that left. I think they went out the other side of our entrance here and were very nerve-wracked with the experience that was happening.
The name of this suspected shooter as Guy House. Suspect has a connection to the church. That's where the suspect killed 2 women, 72-year-old Beverly Gum and 32-year-old Christina Combs. 2 men were also hurt. One of them is in critical condition. Police killed the suspect. Most recently, he was scheduled to appear in court tomorrow morning in a domestic violence case. It comes after an order for emergency protection was filed against him on July 5th.
Pastor Jerry D. Gum is finally going home after several surgeries, rehabilitation, and more than a month of medical care.
And you have proved to be nothing less than amazing, and we are so proud of you.
Before leaving, Pastor Gum recounted that tragic day.
And I ran in to evil itself. This man had already done his evil back behind me and terrorized my church.
A gunman opened fire at his church.
Murdered my wife and my daughter, and then he badly injures my son-in-law, and I'm on my power chair. He ambushed me, 81-year-old man, unarmed, crippled, on a power chair, and he began shooting. He began taunting me, cursing me, laughing at me. He shot me off of my power chair. It was either on my head or up on my head, and tried to kill me, but he didn't manage it. He wasn't as bad as he thought he was.
Trooper Jude Remillion had pulled over a pickup truck on Terminal Drive. Christian music heard playing on his cruiser radio. He approached the driver. The shooter was in the back seat. Both the dash cam and Remillion's body cam then picked up him running away. As the driver got out, the shooter got in the driver's seat and took off. People rushed to help him.
You just tell me what to do.
You okay?
Ready for another drink?
Look at me. You married? No? Got a girlfriend?
Jimmy and Jessica Alexander, daughter Taylor Hall, and Airport Officer Adam Arnold were all there.
I just kept trying to give him water and just keep him cool and talk to him.
We do want to warn you that some of this information may be disturbing. Laken Snelling is accused of hiding her baby's birth last month and leaving the body in a closet. She made a brief court appearance this morning.
In the last few hours, we obtained new court documents in the case. WKYT Samantha Valentino is breaking down what Lexington police officers said in those documents and what happened in court today. Good evening, Sam.
Good evening to you. We just got these new records from the Fayette County District Court. They contain several new details about this case. The biggest one is that Snelling told medical staff she believed her baby was alive at the time of his birth. We do want to warn you again that some of these details are concerning. Now, the affidavit we obtained says Snelling told police she gave birth at 4 a.m. We know from Snelling's arrest citation the baby was found wrapped in a towel in a garbage bag and inside a closet. These documents say she admitted to police that she cleaned up and put the baby in that closet. After this, Snelling told police she's made several stops across campus before going home, where she was detained and taken to police headquarters, then to UK Hospital. That's where she told staff the baby displayed some fetal movement, including a whimper, and that she, quote, guessed the baby was alive. A search of Snelling's phone showed searches pertaining to pregnancy, including photos of her during labor and, quote, concealed or hidden pregnancy. Now, Snelling did appear in court this morning for a preliminary hearing. That's where we expected to learn some new details like the ones in these records. Instead, that hearing lasted less than a minute.
911, where's your emergency?
On August 20th, Lexington police say they were called to Park Avenue for an unresponsive infant. Dispatch records obtained by our news partners at the Herald Leader say the person who called 911 told dispatchers the baby was cold to the touch. The infant was later pronounced dead at the scene. The Fayette County coroner confirmed the baby was a boy, but has not released his cause of death. 21-year-old Laken Snelling was arrested and charged with abuse of a corpse, tampering with physical evidence, and concealing the birth of an infant. According to her arrest citation, the baby's body was found wrapped in a towel inside a black trash bag in a closet. Snelling pled not guilty to her charges earlier this month. In Snelling's preliminary hearing, we expected to hear police testimony and learn some new details about this case. Instead, the hearing lasted all of 35 seconds.
Good morning, ma'am. You were Laken Snelling? Yes. Okay. Yes, sir.
Snelling's attorney told the judge she wanted to waive her right to a preliminary hearing, sending the case to the grand jury.
Ms. Snelling, you just heard your attorney state that it's your desire to waive this matter to the Fayette County grand jury. You understood you have a right to have a preliminary hearing this morning? Yes. But it is your desire to waive this matter at this time? Yes. Okay.
Raquel Wilson is an assistant law professor at UK. We asked her why someone might want to waive their case to the grand jury.
It could be that that is what their client preferred.
Wilson says it could also be that they want to forego the public display of information.
Of course, a grand jury is private. It's not open to the public, and it's orchestrated completely by the prosecutors. The defense might have made the calculation that they are unlikely to prevail at a preliminary hearing. The burden of proof is low. And that an indictment would be inevitable in any instance.
Up next in Snelling's case, the grand jury will decide whether to indict her. She's out of jail on bond, ordered to live with her parents in Tennessee and to remain on home incarceration.
A Kentucky man convicted of stabbing a 6-year-old boy to death is now out of prison.
Xantis was convicted of killing 6-year-old Logan Tipton.
Why did this have to happen to him?
His mental state at the time that the murder took place was sufficient to find him not guilty by reason of insanity.
Because he did it. He did it in front of me.
If I ever cross paths with him, I will kill the man.
If anybody deserved to get out early, it was Ron.
The White House would be looking into the Ronald Xantis case.
I'm certainly open to different pieces of legislation. Bring them all the way back.
I don't know if I did.
Coming back. Put your hands behind your back, Ron.
Yes, sir.
That he had failed to do one thing, and that was register here as a felon.
I'm so glad Florida was on the ball.
And our hope here is that he is sent right back to Kentucky and taken off of our streets.
Welcome to this special edition of WKYT Investigates. I'm Kristen Kennedy.
And I'm Kelsey Soto. Thanks for joining us as we tell the story of retribution, the release of Ronald Xantis.
I think taxpayers deserve to know where the dollars are going that they've already invested in this huge system.
If you don't know who to reach out to, then you reach out to the upper folk and say, who do I reach out to?
When we've invested in our staff, when we've invested in these programs, we have seen historic increases in student achievement.
And it's not just the parents, it's the taxpayers.
Bullying going in the direction of someone that didn't deserve it. I do believe this guy's qualified.
You are living in a world of limited budgets. You don't act like it,
You don't spend like it.
We have some very specific issues happening in Fayette County that need to be addressed.
I totally agree with more money. I just hope they spend it a little wiser.
Where do we kind of make these adjustments to vote in a few weeks?
And I don't know how we move forward without rebuilding the trust first.
My priority is to begin building that trust.
Ask you a couple questions.
Lisa, we got to get back to prep for a board meeting tonight.
Basically, it was like, well, we're just going to silence you.
For the sake of the teachers, for the sake of our parents, and mostly for the sake of our students, please step aside.
Good evening. I'm Kristen Kennedy.
And I'm Kelsey Soto. Thanks for joining us for this special edition of WKYT Investigates District Financial Fallout.
For the last year, the WKYT Investigates team has been digging deeper into Fayette County Public Schools' finances.
An attempt to serve a search warrant ends with an innocent man dead. The story of Doug Harless's death is one we've covered extensively since the night it happened. 1 year later, many questions remain unanswered. Good evening. I'm Samantha Valentino. Thanks for joining us here on WKYT Plus.
Talking about a child's life
Noah was an amazing person.
is much easier than recounting the day of their death.
He was kind to everyone that he met.
Brett Tinch says in the days after his son Noah's death,
He never said a bad word about anybody.
before they even had funeral plans in place,
Graduated Henry Clay with a 4.0 GPA.
he found himself correcting lies about his son's life.
First went on to Facebook, I started seeing these post obituaries, and none of the information was accurate. The middle name was wrong.
He and his wife were fighting misinformation about their late son.
There's one out there that says he was 32 years old.
The rising UK sophomore was actually 1 day away from his 19th birthday. He was in Colorado with his mother. The family says he was helping grandparents clean out a property they had just sold, and he was doing what he loved, fly fishing.
They believe that he had gotten a fly stuck in a rock and he had bent down to pick it up. He hit his head and lost consciousness and he drowned.
The father of two wasn't planning on sharing those difficult details, but he knew he had to fight the fake facts with the painful truth.
It's an unfortunate situation, and it's the last thing a family wants to deal with when a loved one has passed.
Dr. Lisa Blue says Tinch did the right thing.
The family's best strategy is to be proactive and control the narrative by posting an obituary on an official news site or a platform or funeral home website as soon as possible, asking their friends and loved ones to only share that content.
Dr. Blue is the director of artificial intelligence strategies for Eastern Kentucky University.
Unfortunately, you kind of have to have a thick skin while you wait for the process to unfold.
This is not the first family she's seen fight fake obituaries.
There are these automated scraping tools that go out and gather information from social media, local news sources, and public records. This information is then fed into generative AI, which creates this obituary-like content that often is filled with inaccuracies.
She says the obits are published anonymously, some overseas, with no repercussions for inaccurate information. We found one for Noah Tinch on a site based out of Nigeria, another with a link to a defunct fundraising page.
These fake obituaries are then published to these low-quality, high-volume content sites in the hopes of generating ad revenue. So the more odd these obituaries seem, the more likely they're going to get clicks, and every one of those clicks generates a small income stream for the poster.
Income for an anonymous post at the expense of a grieving family.
When you have a tragedy like this, there's just no way to prepare for it. And I was really unprepared as we were making arrangements and everything else for all of these fake obituaries and attempts to profit off of his death.
It all starts with a ping.
People like to push buttons in this society. You push a button, you get an Uber. You push a button, you get to show a house.
Cell phones are a gateway for realtors, from tips and leads to contacts and potential clients. It's all right at your fingertips.
At first, I was in such a hustle mode that I would have went in the middle of nowhere without thinking twice.
but that convenience could be costly.
I think that now people are like, oh, wow.
Sierra Hagedorn has been helping people find their future homes for the last 8 years.
You don't want to walk up to a house, no one know where you are, and have your back turned towards a stranger.
She tells me she's seen firsthand how quickly things can turn intense when she went to meet a potential buyer at a home. 2
guys came, not just one, and they went around the property before they came in, and as soon as they saw my dog, they didn't come within 15 feet of me. They were like backing up. She was on a leash, but she was intimidating, and that was a very good sign that they had bad intentions.
It is a close network. You know, we talk to each other.
A woman who works for Greg Buchanan at ERA Realty almost found herself face to face with a real-life threat.
This is my first kind of run with this type of predator. I think we avoided a horrible situation.
Greg says she got a message through a site from someone looking to check out a vacant home.
When that text came through, there was like a few things that he had in the text that sent off some red flags.
Her gut said something wasn't right. They ran that number through their app called Forewarn, and it notified them that the man on the other side of the line was her longtime stalker.
26, yeah, so like, take somebody with you. It's a dating site for weirdos and psychos.
Lexington police intercepted and arrested Cameron Leach.
But in the long run, taking those extra few seconds to ensure that you're not giving out any more personal information or putting yourself at any more risk than you have to, you know, who knows what it has saved you from that you're not even aware of.
That's what I've had to kind of started doing.
For Sierra, added security measures give her peace of mind.
Our Showing Time app and the lockbox system that we have as agents, there's a safety setting on there for agents that basically when you go to a home and open it up, you will get a call from your emergency contact within 15 minutes, or if you don't respond, then they send the police.
She shares her location. She practices jiu-jitsu.
And I also suggest carrying a weapon. I'm always packing.
It's making you second guess what you're hearing. Like most of us are that's intuition, and we should trust that. You know, we've been here long enough, we've seen things. Listen to yourself.
The same device that could have led Greg's agent to danger.
This is where she's questioned, when he's detained.
May also have been her saving grace.
It's my worst nightmare, honestly, to have one of my female agents or one of my agents to be assaulted on a showing. That's my worst nightmare. I've been fearing that for a long, long time.
He says this time the Forewarn program more than paid for itself.
You know, you can't put a price tag on a life.
No one should ever be ashamed of keeping their safety in mind. And if you have a client that doesn't like you doing that, then move on.
It has been written that heaven must be a Kentucky kind of place. Head into the hills and follow the trails of the Red River Gorge, and you can easily see why that might be true. The sounds enter your ears, the sun becomes blocked by the tree canopy, and you are quickly immersed in a world only Mother Nature can provide.
I've been recreating and enjoying nature in all kinds of forms, from rock climbing to birding. But at the end of the day, just it's peace, it's calm, it's reflection.
For the last decade,
one bus is going that way, one bus is going that way.
Tina Brower-Kraska has been using her love of the outdoors to get more Kentuckians connected to nature and one another.
We are a year-round program. We believe in getting outdoors, rain or shine, hot or cold, all year long.
As the founder of the Red Oaks Forest School, she's inspiring the next generation of outdoor enthusiasts.
At minimum, we want to get people out once a week, and our forest school is focused on getting kids connected to nature for the minimum amount of time that promotes well-being. So really holding that space for people to connect to nature.
The Red Oaks Forest School blends traditional and alternative education where the classroom can be anywhere. There are programs for all ages, including adults.
The closest red that we get is usually like that rusty color. So
Red Oaks often partners with other groups like the Marafiki Center in Lexington to help introduce young people to sights and sounds that might be new to them.
Okay, have any of you been up to Natural Bridge before?
On this day, it was their annual field trip, some stepping out of their comfort zone and heading out on a hike. Others using play in the creek to learn about the critters that swim within it. Justice is a returning participant and a big fan of getting up close and personal with Mother Nature.
One time I found a rock that was like, it was blue, and I cracked it open and it had a crystal inside of it.
What did it look like?
It was blue.
Yeah?
And it looked like an amethyst, I think.
His excitement is music to Brower Kreska's ears.
Every year we get a lot of oohs and ahs and wows, you know. Even last year one of the kids said, "This is better than Kings Island." And I was like, yes, you know, like that's incredible.
Now a national audience will know more about the work of the Red Oaks Forest School.
Nature is a great space to bring a lot of different people together. It's a place where we can be our best selves.
The documentary In Our Nature explores how environmental education and those passionate about it can inspire change through nature-based learning.
Together, I think we're telling a really compelling story about what environmental education means to kids, why it's important, why it needs to be integrated into all education.
And it's in this vast open classroom that Tina Brower Kreska hopes we can all take a minute to be with nature.
I think the most transformative things that we've seen now that we've been doing this for a long time is that the connection to nature is really profound.